What's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. This is another episode of my Fantasy Draft Franchise Mode series with the St. Louis Blues, of course. And in this episode, we look to have as strong of a second half of the season. How do I want to word this? We're looking to have as strong of a second half as we had in the first half. The best team in the NHL, the best offense, the best defense, and we will see if that continues. We have made a couple of tweaks, though, starting with the top line. A lot of people were saying that we should have a sniper on that top line. All three of them were a playmaker. Michael Cole was the popular choice to switch to a sniper, but seeing as he actually looks like more of a playmaker, I'm going to hold off on that for now, and we've switched Jack Eichel to sniper, 16 goals. And we'll see how that goes. You know, maybe eventually we switch Cole to a sniper and put Eichel back. We'll see what happens. But, you know, I'll take you up on that suggestion. We should have a sniper on that top line. Second line remains the same with Keller, Strome, and Laine. The third line, though, Tyson Jost has been called up, as was suggested, and we will see what he can do as we drop down Emile Poirier. Defensively, two changes in the player types. Tim Liljegren has been changed to an offensive defenseman. The reason why he was a two-way was because of the shooting category, but you look at the puck skills, mainly 95 passing. Hopefully he can do well enough. I mean, he is only 20 years old, which is ridiculous. Hopefully he can do well enough despite that weaker shooting category. Same story with Thomas Chabot, who was a two-way defenseman because of the weaker shooting, but we've changed him to an offensive defenseman, and we will see what he can do. Both teams are in a pretty good spot, particularly the Blues, as we move forward here. I don't want to say we're going to have success. I know the Chicago Wolves have a losing record. I meant good spot as in good prospects. It's not looking like they're going to make the playoffs. So who knows? Maybe they will turn it around. But in the meantime, let's move forward. We will sim to the end of February. The trade deadline is on March 1st. We also have a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning on that date. But let's move forward. It is a leap year as well. I'm not sure if we'll make any moves. It's doubtful, but you never know. Maybe a big injury will happen, or maybe somebody will really start to struggle. But let's see what happens as we sim forward to February 29th. For the St. Louis Blues, not too bad. Not too great, but not too bad. Very bad on Thursdays, at least, with losses to Dallas, Boston, and Winnipeg. And we've lost 3 straight games, which is weird because in the middle of the month, we actually lost Carey Price to injury. So that's kind of weird, but we are on 40 points, 86 wins with 19 games to go. And as we look at the lineup, the big question is, do we make any major changes? Michael Cole, 11 goals, 26 helpers on the year thus far. I'll try to make sure I don't read a wrong mythical number here. 16 goals, 37 helpers for McDavid, and Jack Eichel with 22 goals now, so that's working out all right. The second line's been amazing. 50 points for Clayton Keller, 19 and 19 for Dylan Strome, 17 goals and 25 assists for Patrick Laine. So you could argue, put Clayton Keller on the top line rather than Michael Cole. And I'm tempted, trust me, because best lines puts Clayton Keller there. And as it is, Keller is now up to a legit first line forward. Dylan Strome was there all year. But let's take a look. Third line, Timo Meier, 30 points, not too bad. Tyson Jost up to 22. And Gurianov still struggling a little bit. The fourth line, though, Poirier is doing all right. I mean, the only thing you could really argue is maybe getting rid of Poirier, dropping Jost back down to the fourth line. But as we take a look here, the only players, we could send down Jost, we could send down Costin, and Howden. None of whom are really tearing it up. Jost at 22 points, 19 for Costin, 19 for Howden. And they would be a nice boost to the Chicago Wolves, who could use them, as it's not looking like they are going to make the playoffs this year. Only 49 points for them. So that's the question. Do we want to at least slightly risk the development of some of our players to really make sure we push and get a playoff spot. Of course, the big problem is cap space right now and not being able to afford certain players like a Brassard, like a Skinner. We could look to bring in Pacioretty. It's weird, though. He's listed as a first-line forward, which makes me think that it's a morale issue rather than, him actually regressing like that. So I think if we sign Max Pacioretty, he will jump. And I think that's exactly what we are going to try and do here. If we can sign him, and I know I probably should have done this quicker. Hopefully we can still sign players after the trade deadline. I'm actually not sure. Oh, how big of a risk do we take here? That's the question. Should have stopped the sim a little bit earlier in hindsight, but that's okay. That is okay. We'll quickly take a look at Stat Central. I don't want to take too much time here, although the rest of the sim won't take that long. But if we look throughout the league, that is what I want to know. I don't give a damn about Winnipeg. Crosby, can't afford him. Bobby Ryan, probably can't afford him. With that cap hit, I wouldn't want to afford him. Obviously, he's performing very well because of Sidney Crosby. You look at the names on this list. They are not cheap. Ho-Sang might be the cheapest. I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing with Crosby and Bobby Ryan. It's just, man, people are expensive. And how many times have we traded to get somebody and then they just did nothing? Nothing at all. It's happened a lot. Taking a look at the draft pick situation again, we have nothing. So I think our best bet is the free agency option. And that's exactly what we're going to try to do. I am heavily... if I try to sign anybody, I'm heavily risking our morale. I wouldn't send down Costin. I'd send down Howden and Jost. Both of them are, 83, 84. He's a plus 18. Like, how much? Oh, how much? That's the thing, though. Even if we send them down, we're not saving that much money. So I'm going to try to sign Max Pacioretty. If that happens, we send down Brett Howden. Tyson Jost isn't going anywhere. We don't have, and I don't want to trade away certain pieces that we could get trades to work. But the pieces we'd have to give up, not worth it. And we simply don't have the cap space to sign a Zuccarello, a Pavelski, a Skinner, a Brassard, and apparently nobody else does either. But let's see if we can get Max Pacioretty to sign with us for 1 year. Of course, like I said, if he does, Brett Howden goes down to Chicago, where hopefully he can be the savior of that team, and hopefully he can get them into a playoff spot. Now, we are probably, and indeed we are, going to have to sim past this Tampa game, so keep in mind we're on 86 points. What will we be at once this game is over? Pacioretty's accepted. He's an 89 overall, and we got the win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Max Pacioretty is here just in time for a playoff push. Not too bad at all. He's actually down. I knew it. I knew it had to be a morale thing, and look at how cheap we picked him up for. That is insane. And we should have probably caught that sooner, but I am happy that we were able to get Brett Howden some time. And again, when you talk about who we should send up, who we should send down, I mean, Tyson Jost is listed as a depth forward, and we've seen with the likes of Jake DeBrusk in the Bruins series. What do you do? What do you do? Do you put him down in the minors? Do you keep him there? He is progressing. He's putting up points as of late. He picked up an assist in that last game. Clint Costin isn't going anywhere. So Brett Howden, who is making progress, and that's the shitty thing. He is making progress, but somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb, and it is going to be Brett Howden. Hopefully we don't come to regret that, but we just added Max Pacioretty for a playoff push, and let's see. Now, Patrick Laine has to jump back up. So the question is, what do we do? What do we do here? And what do you think? Pacioretty, Jost, what do you think? As if you can fucking answer me. It's not a live stream. Pacioretty, Jost, and Gurianov, although I don't really want to drop down Timo Meier. You might hate me for this. We're going to go Meier, Jost, Gurianov, Pacioretty, Poirier, and Costin. If Pacioretty starts to complain about his ice time, that's fine, although he does now have second line power play time. So for now, Max Pacioretty will be with Poirier and Costin. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm sure when I ask you at the end of the episode what we should do with him, you'll suggest putting him up on that third line. But, well, then again, if we drop Tyson Jost, now can Meyer, Pacioretty, none of these guys can play center. Strome could. Dowcol could. Dowcol, I should say. Do we do... Okay, hold on. Does Dowcol have... Okay, all right, we're taking the risk. We are taking the risk. It's going to be Keller, McDavid, Eichel, Pacioretty, Strome, Laine, Meyer, Dowcol, Gurianov. It'll be Poirier, Jost, and Kleem, Costin. One hell of a team. One hell of a team. There is no doubt about that. I'll have to go through the AHL to make sure Howden gets in, but I will do that off screen. For now, let's sim to the end of March. 64 games down. We are closing in on the end of the season. It is a pretty busy month. Vehvilainen will get plenty of ice time, and down the stretch, if we lock up a playoff spot early, easy for me to say, Vehvilainen will get a lot more starting time. But let's go. March 1st, can we win the President's Trophy is the question. 52-20-6. The St. Louis Blues are a force to be reckoned with this year. The start of the month was ridiculous, only losing to Boston. The last two games have been disastrous. We lost Vienni Vehvilainen, I believe, after this Arizona game. I said really the only thing that could probably stop us is a major injury. We're on 110 points. A major injury has happened. It's a major one. Mikhail Sergachev is out until June. His season is over. It's over. And our chances to run the table in the playoffs have just dropped by quite a bit. Now, we'll take a look at the stats in a minute. These are the line combos we've been working with. Caleb Jones gets the call up, and we will see what he can do. Olli Juolevi steps in to play with Drew Doughty. Shabbat up with Liljegren. DiPietro's actually been starting. We've been resting Carey Price. He's only been playing few and far between. That's why Vehvilainen was injured, because he was starting. As you can see, he is up to 19 games. But you look at what we're missing with Mikhail Sergachev. God, 49 points, a plus 28. A hell of a combo, a hell of a 1-2 punch that he and Doughty were on that top pairing, but that is now gone. And hopefully we don't have to deal with any more injuries. DiPietro will get the last 4 games of the season. Carey Price's last game would have been against Buffalo in a 4-1 loss. But DiPietro starts. We finished first in the conference. Whether or not we win the Presidents, I don't know. But the good thing is Carey Price will be healthy. The Chicago Wolves did not make the Calder Cup playoffs, which is pretty disappointing. Not as disappointing as that Sergachev injury. But the Blues finish with an incredible 55 wins on the year. And before we find out who we play in the playoffs, we won the division. 116 points. The next closest was 90. That was Winnipeg. Fortunately, it's looking like the Dallas Stars are going to make the playoffs, but they'll probably have to play the Jets. Well, let's take a look quickly at what our team did this season before we find out who we play in the playoffs. Connor McDavid played every game. He finished with 76 points. Eichel with 68. Clayton Keller with 61. Only 1 goal in this entire episode, I do believe. So pretty disappointing from him. 1 goal and 10 helpers. Michael Dowcol, 75 games, 58 points. Not bad. Not bad. I said that weird. Drew Doughty with 58 points. Sergachev, 49. Only 48 points for Laine. Now, I know he's not on the top line, but he is playing, or did play, with Clayton Keller and Dylan Strome all year. Strome only 45 points. They really slowed down. That line really slowed down in the second half of the year. Timo Meier with 42 points, 32 for Jost, so for him to get over 30 points is nice. Olli Juolevi with 30, Gurianov with 30, 29 for Shabbat, 27 for Liljegren. Changing him into an offensive defenseman, I'm not sure how much it helped, but he is a plus 28. He took 147 shots and only scored 7 goals. Emile Poirier, 26 points, Costin, 23. Brett Howden, of course, had 19 points in 64 games. He is the number one call-up option. Max Pacioretty, 16 points in 18 games. He was a plus 4. Caleb Jones actually had plenty of ice time this year. 2 points in 16 games. He was a plus 4. Comtois had a game, or 6 games. He had a point. Entwistle, 3 games and a point. Gaudin, 4 games and a point. Lindblom, 5 games and a point. And you look at the goaltending. 62 games for Carey Price, 39, 17, and 2 with a .930 save percentage. 19 games for Vehviläinen, 12, 2, and 2 with a .933 save percentage. And then DiPietro, in fairness, his stats in the AHL this year weren't great. Can I actually take a look at them? Indeed, I can. A .913 save percentage, 23 and 25 on the year. But at the NHL level, 6 games played, a 4-2 record with a .916 save percentage. We will take a look at league-wide and rookie scoring very quickly before finding out who we play. Sidney Crosby, 97 points. Ran away with it. Malkin, Kane, Ovechkin, Connor McDavid. Not bad. Not bad. Top 10 in scoring. I will take that. Rookies, though. Rookies. Carl Grundstrom, 46 points. Nolan Patrick from Minnesota at 41. Goaltending, I don't think Vehviläinen would have counted as a rookie. Indeed, he didn't. DiPietro did. But from the looks of it, DeRozier, Carter Hart, Fitzpatrick, Oscar Dansk, and Grundstrom probably have the best chances at winning the Calder. Liljegren was a rookie as well. So now, before we find out who we play, I pose the question to you. What do we do with our lineups, and how and will we be able to overcome the fact that we have lost Mikhail Sergachev for the rest of the year? It was just a matter of time until a big injury happened. But what do you think? What line combos should we go with? And of course, remember, Brett Howden is there in case of injury. Defensively, though, if there is another injury, we're in a little bit of trouble. We got Josh Wesley here. Tried to overcome that burp. Didn't help out too much. Josh Wesley is our best option. But Carey Price will be in the lineup, which is good news. That gives us a hell of a chance. And of course, I imagine we still have the league's best offense and defense. You know what? For the hell of it, let's delay the announcement of who we play in the first round even further. Let's find out. Did we keep the league's best offense? We are going to win the President's Trophy by 5 points over the Bruins. But goals for per game, 3.27 or 3.27. Only 2 teams average 3 goals a game, us and the Florida Panthers. Goals against per game, still the best. So we are absolutely the favorites. We also had the league's best power play by 0.1% over the Blues. And our penalty kill, also up there. 4th best in the league. An amazing season for this team. But yeah, that Sergachev injury scares the hell out of me. But it's time for the moment of truth. Who will we play in the first round? The Dallas Stars are in the playoffs. That sucks. Who's it going to be? Take your guesses. Place your bets. 3, 2, 1. And it is... Oh, okay, we got some extra money. It is the Anaheim Ducks from the Pacific Division. Not too bad. Both wildcard spots went to a Pacific Division team. Us in Anaheim. I'm scared now. I am. Of course, I have no idea who's on their team because of the fantasy draft element. I'm scared. Who knows? We are clearly the favorites, but whenever you have that much pressure to win, anything short of a cup in this season will be a disappointment. But we will find out what happens in the next episode. And until then, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, of course, make sure to hit that like button to help support me and my channel. Any little ounce of effort helps. Trust me, for a channel this small, any bit of effort helps, and it is greatly appreciated. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already to continue following this series and others. And I will see you guys in the next one.